What's up, y'all? This is Hammer here again, back with another video. This is not going to be a long video, so this is going to be pretty quick. But nevertheless, I wanted to hop on here and quickly dive into something that has been concerning me. And in the past couple of days, right, I have been seeing this growing number of just white folks coming out talking about meritocracy, pulling yourself by your own bootstrap. I'm colorblind. And this really, in my opinion, has sort of this type of rhetoric has always existed, but it has sort of been supercharged by the fact that the white people have been able to sort of get Claudine Gay to resign, and this was mainly a campaign from the white right and also white Jews as well, to that sort of align with the white right to go against Claudine Gay because one, they felt like she wasn't going hard enough against anti-Semitism and she was being too lax when it came to the pro-Palestine protesters. And two, when it came to the white right specifically, they saw her as being the face of the sort of DEI social infrastructure. And so from their point of view, if they're able to sort of, overthrow the black female president, then they can go at the infrastructure itself, right? Now, I already made a whole video, detailing the whole purpose behind why, Claudine Gay was really attacked. Y'all can go on my channel, look at it. It's the truce between white Jews and the right wing. Y'all can look at that on my page. Look at that video. It's almost 40 minutes long. Check it out. Right? But nevertheless, right. But I already dive into the whole Claudine Gay situation there. Y'all can look at that. But what I want to talk about, I guess it's almost like an addition to that video, is how, in addition to the fact that they were able to kind of knock out Claudine Gay, right? They are going back to the traditional narratives of, meritocracy, pull yourself by your bootstrap. And really, this is only being said because after they were able to push Claudine Gay out of her position, people were rightfully putting out, hey, what y'all just did to this woman is racial, right? It's because, when it came to the white female presidents of the other universities, right? I believe at UPenn and MIT, y'all went at them, but you didn't go at them the way you went at Claudine Gay, right? But nevertheless, what makes me laugh about this rhetoric is that something that I have realized, and I think sometimes that you guys need to know, is that when white people talk about meritocracy, it doesn't apply to them. and let me just go and breeze on because some of you guys may not understand what I'm saying here, okay? If you're a black person, especially in America, right? I will say around the globe, but especially in America, you have heard time and time again, right? How whenever the conversation is about, policies to fix harm that was done to black people, fix discrepancies, the argument is always about pull yourself by your own bootstrap, or, it's about meritocracy. But one thing we know is that white people don't operate like this in real life. In real life, right, what they care about the most is money and power. And they will break the rules to ensure this. So I will give you an example, right? When you had the whole situation in regards to the fact that Ivy League schools and certain prestigious schools were mostly white. When black people were complaining about this stuff, right? What was the rhetoric being said? Well, the reason why these Ivy Leagues are mostly white is because y'all have low IQs. If y'all just studied harder and had higher scores and did better, you'd be doing good, right? That was the rhetoric. Here comes the Asians. The Asians come through, they outcompete the whites. They have higher test scores, higher GPAs. But guess what? We still don't see them overtaking the Ivy League schools. In fact, what we see is white folks actually changing rules to limit the amount of Asians that enter these Ivy League schools, right? They go after affirmative action, but they keep legacies admissions in place. Because once again, legacy admissions mostly benefits white kids. Right? In fact, I have actually heard the argument from many people that, hey, the reason why you sort of see so many schools talking about how they were going to drop, SAT requirements, it wasn't about, quote unquote, empowering black and Latino students. The reason was because Asians were doing too good on these tests. And so that was just another way to kind of look, because once again, if the SAT gets dropped as a requirement, it no longer matters as much, right? Then that means what? That means that when it comes to white kids, even if they get compete with the SAT, they can still have the, legacy students, they can still have a GPA and have the advantage. So, and I was like, damn, right? That's what I've heard. And look, based on what I've seen, so far, I have not seen that. So far, based on what I've seen, that's to be true. So, in other words, before Asians started to kind of really dominate it, the academic field being a threat to them, they were out here talking about meritocracy. They were out here talking about principle and bullshit. I'm going to get the black folks. And the moment a group started to really outcompete them in the rules, right? Same thing when it comes to even how white people deal with business or how they interact with other countries, right? I'll give you an example. Recently, BYD surpassed Tesla to become, I believe, the number one electric car vehicle company in the world, right? Because Tesla was number one. Now that was BYD. BYD is a Chinese company. Now keep this in mind. Both BYD and Tesla are heavily subsidized by the governments. America subsidized Tesla a lot. China subsidizes BYD. And we know why. Because, when it comes to governments, you're always going to try to support your quote-unquote national champions. When you have a domestic company that is able to go out there and compete on a global scale, you're going to put your money behind them because the more successful your companies are, the more revenue they gain, the more stronger yours is. Because that's more revenue you can tax. And you can also use that company as a leverage for influence. So when you're going to the country, say, hey, look, if you don't follow our policies, then we will stop, Tesla manufacturing. We'll pull back. So it's in every country's interest to subsidize their own industries, right? But keep this in mind. When the United States, subsidizes, Tesla and allows it to dominate the globe, there was no problem with that, right? When Europeans subsidize their industries, against other countries, poorer, countries that cannot do so, right? Now, right? It's no big deal. But the moment in which China and other non-white countries do the exact same thing, all of a sudden this is unfair competition. This is market manipulation. This is anti-free market. It's the same thing, right? Do you see how many white folks online are crying about BYD surpassing Tesla? But I'm like, but wait a minute though. You're crying about all the subsidized, but you're crying about the fact that BYD gets so many subsidies from China, but so does Tesla. Tesla gets a lot of subsidies from America too. But for some reason, when Tesla was going to subsidies, it wasn't a problem. But when China gives subsidies to Tesla, BYD is a problem. Same behavior. Even right now with this whole, Bill Ackman and Elon Musk out going at DEI, right? DEI is reverse racism against blonde hair, blue-eyed white males. Oh my fucking God. But even this new campaign they're on, keep this in mind, right? Whenever you see a white person coming at you talking about reverse racism, DEI, understand that they did not have a problem with racial preferences when it came to them. And let me just break this down, okay? Is it true that DEI does put a racial preference when it comes to racial minorities? Yes. But here's the reason why I don't have a problem with that. Even if black people may not benefit the most, because look, I am not going to be disingenuous. White people got things on the base of being white for hundreds of years. Let me say this again. White people got things on the base of being white for hundreds of years. And so, no, I'm not going to, we're not going to let that happen. And then all of a sudden, scream foul when policies are in place to help people who've been disenfranchised for the race for that time period. Because here's a fundamental issue I have when it comes to white folks, Elon Musk or Bill Ackman, who got DI, is that none of them have problems with the fact that, white people gain, leverage or advantages based on their race. But you only have a problem when the policies in place to fix the disadvantage of people based on their race. So it wasn't a problem when the whites were getting stuff based on their race, but it's a problem with trying to help those who were disadvantaged based on their race. That's when I got called the bullshit. See, the reality is this, okay? White people only believe in meritocracy if meritocracy benefits them. That's all it is. If it's the same thing when it came to the whole Ivy League situation, right? Because they believed, right, from their point of view, that white students, perform better on the SAT because they tend to come from better, economically better situations. It was easy for them to throw the meritocracy because they knew that, hey, Black Americans, Black people have to overcome so many barriers that very few will even make it that far. So they could hide behind meritocracy because they knew that, once again, meritocracy, the economic advantage would essentially mean that meritocracy work in their favor. But when they saw the Asians come through who could destroy them in SAT and GPA scores, right, and was now starting to encroach on the white spaces, really taking on these spaces, all of a sudden, the moment they realized that they were losing at the meritocracy game, what did they do? They changed the rules, right? All of a sudden now we gotta stop. We gotta roll back. We gotta roll back diversity. We gotta knock down SATs. We gotta double down on legacy. All of a sudden now they started to change the rules and sort of put all kinds of ceilings on Asians. So we gotta be honest here, okay? The reality of the conversation is this. I don't want to hear white folks talking to me about pulling themselves by their own bootstraps and quote unquote a meritocracy. I don't want to fucking hear that, right? Because these are the same people when Black Americans were going through the crack cocaine, the crack epidemic. It was, you just say no. Just say no. The moment the white white kids started dying on opioids, it was, this is horrible. Becky just overdosed on an opioid. Shut the fuck up. So what I need y'all to do is, if you want to really push the narrative of meritocracy, you need to make sure that everything is meritocratic all the time, not just when it benefits you. Outside of that, I don't want to hear any more of this meritocratic. So because you guys have already established that meritocracy only matters to white people as long as it benefits them. The moment it doesn't, they will break the rules and will put policies in place that benefit them based on them being white, or based on them being white by proxy. Okay? But with that being said, y'all, I'll leave it there. Tell me what you guys think of the chat. Like, subscribe, hammer out.